I don't want to go.
God. Stop
Fucking
being a
D20.
girl.
I don't want to go.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Scribes and Scrolls. This is book 7, Under a Red Moon, chapter 70, A River Runs Through It. And in case you didn't get the memo, this is now a Pathfinder 2e campaign. And we played our first adventure in Galarian last week. And in just a moment, I will take us through a little bit of a recap, and then we'll turn these adventurers loose to wreak whatever havoc they're going to wreak. But first, a couple of quick announcements. Also, we hope you managed to catch the first episode of our brand new Thursday night stream, Kids on Bikes. Welcome to Paradise, Michigan. That debuted on Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and will be every Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/miniterraindomain. If you did miss that or any of our other sessions, you can head on over to youtube.com/miniterraindomain, where all of our VODs are available.
You can join me in my feverish rewatching of it, analyzing for mistakes, strengths, improvements to be made, etc.
She's not exaggerating, because I often hear
coach.
the very next day references and notes to the previous day's streams.
Excuse me.
So also in just a couple weeks will be our second session of Lawlerville, our original Call of Cthulhu scenario by our historian Ricky, who, as you can tell from the window there next to Cari and below him, Ricky is not with us tonight. So given the events of last week's session and what in particular happened to Vornush'ka's axe, we're going to say that Vornush'ka is inconsolable. That's not an actual Pathfinder condition, but it is for tonight.
It is tonight.
I think anytime anybody tries to talk to Vornush'ka, you just get a as she looks at her axe that's no longer quite what it was. I guess just a couple more quick announcements. If you look above M's head there, you will see, or right over here, you will see our domain tomes. Domain tomes are, of course, a way that you, the audience, can have a little bit of an influence on the game. For now, until I figure out something different, for now, the domain tomes are going to work similar to hero points, which, as a reminder, you all start the session with 1 hero point. And hero points have some uses within the system. As they come up, we'll deal with those. And at a later time, we'll figure out how those and limited edition tomes and all that stuff can work. The last announcement that I want to make, of course, is just to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether or not you believe it. It is true. You might be struggling for any of a number of reasons. Lord knows there's plenty of reasons in the world today. But if you find yourself needing some help, you can type !help in our chat at any point in time. And a couple URLs will pop up. findahelpline.com, or you can head over to takethis.org and check out their growing list of resources. We encourage you to check out those websites, bookmark them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. I noticed in chat, D20 says it seems unfair that I don't have cards. I don't know if you're talking about the domain tomes or if you're talking about the cards that relate to Pathfinder. In either case, there are limited edition tomes. I don't know how to use them with Pathfinder yet. They are $20 a piece, and I can only have 5 of them. And if you're talking about What?
I like to imagine Jake just fucking not knowing how to use them, but then all of a sudden one gets used and his eyes just start glowing white and is like, all of you shall know me and despair. And then it's just a freaking TPK. Oh, Lord.
Thank you for that idea. I will see what I can do to employ that. But if you are talking about if you're talking about the Pathfinder cards, you can actually head over to anybody can check out my throne where I have a whole bunch of Pathfinder 2e stuff up on throne. I'm actually ordering soon some critical hit and fumble cards, hero point cards. I've been looking at those because they do make any of the tools. I love tools that make GMing easier. So with that, I think it is time. Cari, what time is it?
It's time to find some paths, bitches.
There we go. All right. We are going to, let me see if my music cues are working here. There we go. So in our last session, we did a little tiny bit of a retcon. A retcon is an entirely different genre. We did a little bit of a retcon with the visit to the grandfather tree, and you all received visions as you became entombed in the roots and vines of the tree, and you all sort of reacted to the visions that grandfather tree was providing. A couple of you had more visceral reactions. Vornush'ka's infamous blood axe was actually partially destroyed, and grandfather tree gave a piece of its own root structure to replace the handle, and Vornush'ka does not yet fully understand what that implication is. The other thing was that when Doc got entombed within the vines, it was not Doc who emerged, but rather the much smaller and much more lugubrious Flip who appeared.
What was that word?
Lugubrious.
Amazing.
That's your word of the day.
That's an SAT word.
There's a few of them knocking around in here that slip out every once in a while. But yeah, it was Flip who emerged, and before you all really had too much of a chance to process what had happened, the tree started to shudder and began to decay. Leaves began to fall all around, including what you thought was the green foliage hundreds of feet above, but was in fact 3 jungle drakes. The ground heaved up, and a large shambling mound also began to attack you all. Some of you took some injuries from these attacks. All of you at one point or another, I believe, became grabbed by the jungle drakes, either in their jaws or in their tails. But grandfather tree gave one final shudder and sent some large branches from on high, like projectile spears, that came down and impaled all 3 jungle drakes. And the last remaining living vines and roots reached up from the ground and tore the shambling mound asunder back into its component pieces. As the sky began to reverberate with thunder and lightning flashed all around, that is where we pick up in the aftermath of this brief fight that you had with these creatures. The leaves continue to fall around you, and the first raindrops are beginning to fall. What would you all like to do?
Teera is just like standing there, like heaving and like looking around still, and eventually just sort of kind of rights herself and puts her sword away, and it's kind of, is everyone all right?
Yeah, I feel great. Thanks for asking.
I do not feel so well.
What's the problem? Did you have a really unfathomable relationship with your father? I know that affects you.
Oh.
No, I just hurt kind of all over.
Oh, like with the Bernie and the claws and the stabby?
The pain.
Oh, hang on. I
Yes.
might be able to help you with that. Flip is gonna flip open his bag and he's gonna reach for something and he's gonna get what looks to be some black dirt and he's gonna spit in it and he's gonna sort of rub it in his hands and he's gonna like double pat Mizya on the cheek and is going to heal them for
Oh my god.
No, it's fine. Totally fine. Yeah, if I do it this way, then it's, what if I do that?
Let's do it and spit.
Well, yeah, and then it's like, and then, 32 points of,
Man.
of healing to Mizya.
Well,
It's not dirt and spit, it's magic.
Oh.
I
Okay.
kind of like pat my robes down. I feel fantastic. I smell like spit and dirt, but I guess that's a fair trade. Thank you. I'm sorry, I don't think I ever actually got your name.
Yeah, no, my name's Flip, and Flip's cloak will billow a little bit to behind him, and yeah, he just says, yeah, I have that effect on people. Generally, wonderful, beloved by all who know me, very popular everywhere I go.
Yeah, I can see why. And I would kind of make my way over to Marda. Yeah, are you okay?
I think you can see what's left of that like weird bark veining thing that was happening with Marda
yeah.
as she like
Oh.
after she's yeeted down from this drake.
Yes. You did so
and
hard.
she kind of just like looks up at you, a little frazzled, but yes, I and she like just dusts off.
Would we have seen and or been able to like interpret that the stuff that Marda did with like the energy sucky thing?
The what?
Didn't you like suck life points out of that? I don't know. Didn't you absorb gently life points from that fucking forest drake?
Game did we play?
I don't know.
There's
Shut up, Dwight.
your choice in words.
Didn't you? I don't know how else to say it. You put your hand on
Did
it.
you do like-
You took away its life points.
It's not getting better.
Yeah.
It would be a shame if somebody took all three of those takes and remixed them into something
Man.
inappropriate.
We have
12-year-old
like
me is doing backflips in my mind right now. Just
we
like, wait.
have an age restriction on this channel right now, because if we don't, we're getting pulled off Twitch.
Thank you for reminding me I need to turn on the mature audiences filter on Twitch.
Didn't
Oh my
Marda?
goodness.
Oh god, didn't Marda do a spell that stole hit points from the thing to Marda?
Yes, yeah.
Were we all watching when it happened?
So I think
Would that
that
be an Arcana check?
it's well with this system I think it's a little bit more than that. If
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, I think it's going to be more along the lines of a recall knowledge, or recall lore or whatever it's called. I think it's recall knowledge. Are you trained in Arcana? That's part of the thing.
I'm not.
I would say roll me a flat perception check. Sort of in hindsight.
18.
You don't know the nature of what happened, but you definitely saw Marda pulling some interesting
Fuju.
using some interesting magic. Sorry, you got me watching my word choices very closely
Yeah,
now.
now all of you sons of bitches are on fucking watch. Okay, so Teera would just make a mental note of this and not really say anything, but kind of notice that Marda is a little extra frazzled and just nod. Like, well, where do we go? And I would look over at Mizya. What do we do now? We need to find more.
Why would you ask me?
One piece of the recap I forgot to mention was at the end of these visions, Flip, actually, I believe, if I remember correctly, was the one who received the vision showing the location of the temple or shrine or whatever it may be of the Black Lotus.
Yes, Dungeon Master, that was correct, but Teera didn't ask Flip. Teera asked Mizya and Marda about that, so...
I'm asking the group, but kind of gently nodding at Mizya, because Teera sort of looks up to Mizya, you know, in the tribe and everything. The older people are the wiser people, and so she kind of tends to look at Mizya for these answers.
And I don't know anything about this place, right? Like, that's...
No, Marda knew that Grandfather Tree would... The whole reason you came here was that Marda knew that if you could get here by the end of the summer solstice, you could gain wisdom from the Grandfather Tree.
Okay.
That's all you know.
Yeah, the Grandfather Tree didn't really give me direction in the way that you're asking. It was more just a general, like, I should be the boss of you type thing.
Oh, well, okay then.
Well, maybe not the boss of you, but like, I am a born leader and I should make use of those skills more often, that kind of thing.
And Teera kind of smiles at that, and she kind of like punches Mizya on the arm a little bit too hard, probably, and it's like, I've been telling you that since I knew you.
Well, I didn't trust you, but thank you anyways.
Oh,
I didn't mean it like that. I sorry. That was kind of harsh. Yes, I'll just shut up now. I'm not making much sense. I'm really, really tired after all this. And I turn to Flip. I'm not quite sure why you're here. We had a big tall man, monster, construct, person thing that's been with us for quite some time. He seems to be gone, and you seem to be in his place. I'm quite sad about that. The doctor and I had become quite close. But perhaps
apparently
we can...
apparently our boy...
I'm sorry,
Our
what?
boy Flip... sorry,
Oh, yeah.
Our boy Flip seems to be close with everybody, so he said.
Right. I mean, he seems quite gregarious. Perhaps he has some information that might be helpful to our little group.
He's going to like sort of fix his hair a little bit. He's like sort of like lick his hands and get it up there, and then pull out some a salve from his bag and like sort of style it. And it's like, oh yeah, fairly popular wherever I go. And why didn't you ask? Of course, I know exactly where we need to go. And as for that other guy, sounds like a jackass. I don't know what happened to him. So, but clearly I'm here now, and that's just how we gotta roll. I'll help you get to this temple, because the Grandfather Tree obviously made me the leader of this group, because he's the one who told me where to go and none of you. So I should lead you to this destination, because I'll tell you what, the Grandfather Tree said really nice things about me, like everyone does. And I feel the need to live up to that, you know? It's like, can't let my fans down, which is hard. It's pretty much a 24-hour-a-day job because I have so many, but...
I gotta ask, my friend, how did you end up in there? And Teera would point back at like the broken kind of husk of the little pods we all came out of. Like where were you before?
Yeah, that's a great question. Where were any of us before? These are the types of metaphysical questions that the philosophers have been asking for years. It's like, who are we? Where are we? Are we just this simple matter? Or are we more? Like stardust and light and all that shit.
Teera's kind of panickedly looking at Marda because, like, I don't know what half of these words mean, and like, what's a star? Like stardust. I don't know cosmic shit. I'm just like, But like, where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
Sort of goes to where we were before. It's like, where am I not from? Yes, you might say I was once a prince of goblins from mountains in the south, but so too was I a vizier for a king in the east. These are not who I am. These are where I have been. One does not equal the other. You must be more specific with your questions. Where are we from? Where are any of us from? You see, these are the types of questions that philosophers have been asking for hundreds and hundreds of years, trying to divine where we're from. Mizya, you were going to say something. You interrupted me, but please go ahead.
I just kind of lean into Teera. I miss Doc already.
Yeah. I mean, I think Doc had a lot of these thoughts, but generally he kept them to himself.
Well, he was a little more direct in his speaking, but we should give this one a chance. He seems kind of interesting.
I can't help but like him.
Yeah, yes, he's quite right. I can see why he gets along so well with others. But I tell you, Teera, it's just you and I now. For all those that set out that day so many months ago. And Vorn is gone, and Togo is gone. Well, not gone, but not here. Now Doc is gone. There was that other one. But
I don't remember.
Yes, it escapes me. Well, you and I.
Seems like we lost one more.
You and I.
But
all that is left from the beginning, and it will be up to us to hold this group together. I do think.
And Teera would kind of put her hand on Mizya's shoulder again and be like, "Well, if I'm the first to go, then I'll owe you money. You can have whatever's on me. How about that? That's our bet. If you die first, I can have all your stuff. And if I die first, you can have all my stuff."
Well, I think they will be equally useless to each other. I have no need for your money, and you have no need for my books. So, it is a deal.
And Teera would just smile.
As
sorry.
As Teera and Mizya are talking, Flip is going to sidle over to Marda. How tall is Marda?
Size small. Like 3 feet, maybe.
So at 3 foot 7 inches 3/4 and 1/8, Flip is going to tower over Marda, and he's going to sort of like just sort of like stretch a little bit, lean in his back, look down on her a little bit, like not in a negative way. It's like, so how's it going? You don't talk very much. These two they like to gab, and you're just sort of sitting here. You're taking it all in. You're really thinking about things, I think.
Marda just like smiles as she leans on her staff. She looks up at you, and for someone who says a lot, you do not say very much.
Yeah, that's the trick.
It is very good.
Yeah, I get that a lot. But I guess my question is, did the old grandfather tree, are you quiet because the grandfather tree kind of like reached into your brain, stirred it around, and made you have feelings and things and stuff? Or are you quiet because you're just sort of pondering your existence as you are here now? Or is it a combination of column A and column B? I'm curious. I'm not writing it down. I'm just, wondering.
She smiles again. She leans in. Yes. You said you know where we are going.
I did, and you did not answer either of my questions.
I answered all 3 of your questions. In fact.
All right. Well, I guess it's gonna take some time for me to get my hands in that brain and sort of swirl it around and see what makes you tick. But I love project. But yeah, no, there's some temple, and we have to go there, and there's some walking, and there's maybe a little riding, and I get tired. I might like ride on Teera's back, and that's it. Do you have a nickname, or do you just go by Marda?
Marda is actually my nickname.
Oh, Marda's your nickname. Oh, interesting. What's your actual name?
She grins again, and just it is a name that I would prefer to forget.
This is very interesting. This is my. He's gonna sort of like absent-mindedly look down at his like pocket, his wrist, look up at the sun. He's like, I've been here for like 15 minutes, already unraveling all the secrets that all y'all got. All right, cool. But you don't need to think about the past, because you know why? The past is in the past.
What about you? What are you looking for?
What am I looking for? Oh, really? It's a noble, charitable mission. To bring myself to the people of Golarion. Because I know it's improbable, but there are people who have not met me. And, introducing myself to them is really the most giving thing I can do.
Oh my god.
Huh. You are,
A gift? I know.
That is, sure, yeah, that some people would say that word.
I gotta tell you, I like you, Marda. You're using your head. And, using your mouth as well. And, you got some secrets in there. And maybe one day we'll, talk some more and you feel comfortable, sharing them with me. Because that's what people do. But I'm glad you're here, Marda. And, we are the sum total of our experiences. And if those experiences aren't the type of experiences you want to remember, you can leave them in the past. But you build on them. And you leave them down at the base of the tower of you. You don't have to reference them. They will always be there. But they don't define what's at your tower. You do.
Marda nods. You should write a book.
Oh, I have. Would you like to read it? Which volume?
I am not surprised, she says.
There's Flip's treatise on philosophy, flipping friends and making people. That's coming out with a sequel this summer.
Mm-hmm. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh, but we should probably talk to the others, though. They might be feeling left out of this little conversation.
I think if you
BioWare
look,
game.
we're just kind of standing arms crossed, just watching.
It's like a BioWare game. It's like, oh, you're back. Have you checked out the tower yet?
I would like everybody to make a flat perception check, please. I have already rolled one for Vornush'ka.
Fuck.
I would like to give to Miko inspiration for your Kids with Bikes game, because she just came up with the greatest name for a flip book. Flip, Laugh, Love. She's earned it. She's earned it.
Wow. Well, I got a 16.
Okay.
22.
I feel like M just realized, oh wait, I need dice.
M got
doesn't have
24.
dice.
Oh, I missed
20
that.
Oh,
2019.
So everybody got above a 15.
yeah.
Okay. What did you have for Mizya? Was
22.
22. So Marda got the highest. Marda, roll 1d4, please. Oh, Flip got a 29. I missed that. I'm still letting him roll the d4.
We like him. They can roll the die.
So this dice roller,
Doesn't have a d4.
it does, but it automatically rolls a d20 every time. Like you can't just roll a d4.
That's why we go
weird.
with the old school dice roller, which is dice.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
Dice?
it's these little plastic
What
things.
are
the
what are
damnedest- like,
dice?
look-
You mean they make them for real?
It's the most
Yeah.
wonderful simulation.
They're like
you can
3D
get.
versions of what's on your screen.
Yeah. Whoa. I got a 1.
A 1.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't like the way you
So
just said one.
no, this is good. I also need, so since Marta did that, Flip, I want you to roll a D100, please. I'm going to do my rolling D100 scale.
Okay.
Or sliding scale, I mean.
Okie doke. That is a 34.
Okay. I want you to roll a D4 as well.
Okay. I'm gonna roll the D8 and divide it by 2. That's a 2.
Okay. While you're all standing around there, you all do see, that there are, on the ground where this shambler was, as it sort of fell apart, and now with the rain falling, some of the leafy debris and mud and stuff is kind of getting washed away. You're seeing that there are several bones of small animals, but there's some bones of some humanoids in there as well. Maybe about 3 or 4. You see the remnants of rotted leather and rusted metal armor. Maybe a couple little pieces of jewelry. But in the midst of this, there are some other items. First is you find a bottle containing a it doesn't really tell me what it looks like, so we're gonna call it a red liquid.
Nice.
For now, it's conveniently labeled with a sort of dirty label that says Elixir of Life.
Awesome.
This is a potion that accelerates a living creature's natural healing process and immune system. Upon drinking this elixir, you regain the listed number of hit points and gain an item bonus to saving throws. This is a... Hold on, I'll tell you what it is, because it told me. It is a lesser elixir of life. So it restores 1d6 hit points, and you get a +1 bonus to saving throws against diseases and poisons for 10 minutes when you take that. So somebody can add that. The next item is so that was the one that Marta rolled, was for 1 consumable. There are 2 permanent items thanks to Flip's roll.
Nice.
The first is something called Merchant's Guile. It is a ring.
Oh God, I know who that's going into.
The band of this ring is made from a blue-colored iron and has 2 sharp decorative protrusions on each side of the red stone inlay. It feels quite heavy and reliable. Wearing this ring grants you a +2 item bonus to deception and diplomacy checks, but only if the associated check involves haggling or bargaining over purchase or trade. It also has an action that you can activate. I'm not going to read every aspect of all of these, but that is one of 2 permanent items that you find. The other, this can't be right. This can't be an actual item on here, is it? A replacement? A replacement filter for a water filter? I'm not going with that right now.
I would say not. We get a Brita.
Does anybody else kind of think that it's a little surprising this plant wasn't a vegan?
Yeah. Sort of seems like it.
Right.
I mean, I just drink out of the river.
It's like, I eat a salad from time to time, but I guess it's the same thing.
What's a salad?
A salad. There's like vegetables in it, and it's good for the waistline. You might not have to worry about it because all the
like
cardio that you do.
potatoes. Is potatoes a salad?
Potatoes can be in a salad. Typically, a potato is its own thing, its own size. Okay. It's probably good for you because you like to carbo load because of all the, hacking and slashing and maiming and killing.
What's a carb?
A carb. It's like fuel.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
like
it.
people fuel, Gives you energy.
Yeah. All right, I understand.
There is one other item that you find. Looking at it, it appears to be a basic wooden shield. Which it has all the benefits of a wooden shield. If you raise your shield, you get the 2 AC bonus. It's a standard Link starting shield.
Nice.
Except this has magic within it. This shield can be activated, immediately destroying the shield, causing it to explode outward, dealing 4d6 piercing damage to each creature in a 15-foot cone.
Whoa.
So whoever takes that shield can add a exploding shield to...
I guess I'll take the shield. I think Flip should have the Merchant's Guile.
Yeah.
And I think probably Mizya or Marda should have the Elixir of Life.
Hey, yeah. I don't know how much healing Marda has. I have 1 spell that I can use to heal myself.
Marda has so much.
Okay,
So much.
I will take the healing then.
Yeah.
So much healing. And sometimes taking things, hit points away from other things in a super appropriate fashion.
Well, that's how energy works, Can
Mizya,
only be transferred.
Mizya, roll a
Conservation matter.
d20, please.
Rolling in d20. 9.
The temperature has dropped by about 5 to 10 degrees. The wind's picking up a little bit, and the rain is falling steadily in just some of those big, fat, thick raindrops. You all are at this point completely soaked with rain. What would you like to do?
What time of day is it right now?
We're actually going to say that, as I recall back like 3 months ago when you first arrived, you all were busting butt to get here before the summer solstice ended, so you got here late in the day.
Okay.
And I'll even go so far as to say that, the tree, the grandfather tree, sort of decaying, and the effects you saw sort of timed with the essentially midnight, with the ending of the summer solstice. So you've had a full day of travel before you ever got here. You've had some fighting. You are still in the midst of a large wood, though the forest proper is a couple hundred yards away in any direction where this clearing was of the grandfather tree.
Okay. Teera kind of rotates her shoulder and she's like, well, if I'm being honest, I could use a rest before we really strike out. Is that alright with everybody? So Teera's hurt a little bit, but she's trying to keep it hidden from Flip because she doesn't want the spit and dirt treatment.
All right, well, yeah, I could put my feet up and relax. Getting a little, my cloak is getting a little wet, and I'm sure Mizya really doesn't like the weather. They seem like, they prefer dry, even temperature, not too hot, not too cold.
If you look at Mizya, it's like that scene in Emperor's New Groove where the llama's just sitting there with his snout kind of down and the rain's pouring off of them. And Mizya's just sitting there and the hair is matted, the robe is soaked, and just staring off into the distance. And then when Flip says that, yes, if we could go, that would be quite nice.
Well, I guess I start making camp then, and I would look over and be like, Vornush'ka, and I would see that Vornush'ka is inconsolable. I'm like, and I just start making camp by myself, and just kind of putting up tents.
Were you gonna just make camp here next to the 3 dead rotting jungle drakes, or were you gonna go into the forest, or?
I mean, this is 3 less jungle drakes, and if any jungle drakes see this shit, they're gonna probably stay away.
Perhaps it's best to move 100 paces away from an open food source.
All right.
Toward the trees, out of the rain.
That might help. Yes.
You're not just a pretty face, Mizya.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
I'm so glad I have all of you to tell me where to start working. I guess we should go. And Teera picks up the half-assembled tent and just starts skulking off towards the woods.
I think you actually would see that just inside the wood line proper, after you had noticed the inconsolable Vornush'ka, that she had already headed off that direction. And as you approach, you can just hear the steady whack, whack, as she is using the blood axe as a woodcutter axe, basically, and just chopping some wood to get a fire started. So I will let you decide if you want to do more conversations around the fire, that sort of thing. You're able to get enough cover from the rain that you can get a fire going and get kind of dried out. Resting in Pathfinder works a little bit different than we're used to in D&D. You take your rest of 8 hours, after which, if you rest, and only after you rest, let me back up. If you're wearing armor, you have to take your armor off when you rest, because you get penalties if you sleep in your armor. Once you get your 8 hours of rest, it's assumed that you're also part of that rest, or at the end of the rest, you're spending 30 minutes to an hour getting your equipment around, getting dressed again, putting your armor back on, and also preparing. That's when you do your preparations if you're a class that can change out spells or prepare other spells, that sort of thing. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. The other thing is that a long rest does not automatically give you full hit points back. You gain on your rest, if I remember correctly, your Constitution modifier plus your level in hit points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly, as I'm saying these things, I'm glancing to M for confirmation.
But we get our spells back after a rest, right?
Yes. So here's a couple of the things that that you do get upon your rest. You get well, that's the thing what you do after you've rested. Yes, you get your spells back. You regain hit points equal to your Constitution modifier, minimum of 1, multiplied by your level. So it's con mod times your level, which is 8. And you lose any fatigue condition. You reduce your severity of the doomed and drained conditions if you have those. And spellcasters, after you've gotten the full 8 hours of rest, you get your spell slots back.
Okay, so as we're sort of setting up
Or spells,
camp,
I should say.
as we're setting up camp, Flip is going to reach into his bag again, and he's going to get some of the dirt, and he's going to sort of mat it up in his hand, and then he's going to sort of blow it around in a circle, and then he's going to like do 2 finger guns in the air, and everybody will heal in a 30-foot emanation. 11,
This fucking heals
18,
fella's finger gun.
20, 28 points of healing to anybody who's
damn.
down.
And back to full. Beer, 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 beer.
And Flip is gonna sort of like flex his fingers. He's like,
I can see why you're beloved by everyone you know.
yeah, it's true. You know, I'm beloved by some people who don't even know me. It's amazing. It's really a talent.
I guess so. Well, I guess I'll take first watch. It'll give me time to take off my armor. Because I'm wearing armor now, because barbarians have a slight amount of armor in this system.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Good to know.
I don't go in for that sort of thing. I'm gonna sleep all night. Let you guys worry about the rest of it. As the leader, it only feels right. Good night. Wait, no, we should talk. We should talk and get to know each other.
No, by all means, you can sleep if you need to.
It has been an exhausting 15 minutes.
Flip, you do whatever you want to do. And Teera would go off and take her sword and go stand by a tree on the outskirts.
All right, and then as Teera runs off, you got it, big sword.
And I would kind of like shrug and be like, that one's not very creative. I'll have to work on it. And just kind of go, and she would just kind of be watching. She would sort of stand, like, we're not very far into the woods. She would sort of stand facing, like, as it gets clearer, because she can see farther and kind of be watching that area. And then she would move throughout her shift a couple times.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. That's a 27.
Okay, and then give me a D100 roll.
Okay. Oops. 92.
Okay. You stay well alert throughout the evening, or the couple hours of your watch. You see a few animals moving around. Nothing that gets even close to the lighted perimeter of the fire, and nothing that seems to be bigger than deer.
Okay. Did we ever agree who was going to take second shift?
I would have volunteered.
Okay. So I would go, and then I would like crouch and I'd be like, Mizya, wake up! It's time for your shift.
You very well. Sleep well, Teera.
And
Most
Teera,
likely.
you would see, is like holding her armor in her hands, and is kind of getting ready to go to sleep.
And I will just kind of set my back up against a tree and start leafing through one of my books.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
$33.
And roll me a D100.
$18.
Whoa. Rolled a 16.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Which means you're being only 2 away, you're within the sphere of something happen. For reference, there was only a 10% chance of anything happening. So you're leafing through. one of your spell books, you said?
Mhm.
And with that 33 perception, there comes a point, Mizya, where as you're sitting with your back against the tree, you're hearing the sort of steady sound of the rain kind of hitting on the treetops above, and you're hearing the additional sound of the rain as it falls through the trees and sort of drips around, and you realize there's an additional sound in between those drops of rain. You hear the sound of wet leaves being softly, though something heavy is stepping upon them. Wet leaves sort of crushing. You hear the sound of a twig pressed into the mud snap slightly. You sense a presence not far from you. Something is approaching slowly and cautiously.
Okay.
And is the primary sense you get is that something is watching you.
Okay. I am going to I'm going to look out in the direction that I hear it to see if I see anything. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to cast Ghost Sound as a cantrip, which allows me to create an auditory illusion of simple sounds that has a maximum value equal to 4 humans shouting. Maximum of 4 humans shouting. I want it to be like a loud whisper, but I want to center it right in between the 3 of my sleeping companions to see if I can rouse them without making too much noise.
Oh,
Okay.
That's a very creative use of that spell. Dwight, everybody. Dwight.
So that was what was the name of that?
Ghost
Whisper?
Sound.
Ghost Sound?
Ghost Sound.
Excuse me. Max volume. So I think, what is your, I don't know if I'm even asking the right question because of Pathfinder. What is your spell save DC? Do you have that?
Somewhere. I saw it last week. DC 26. Arcane DC 26.
What? I'm trying to think of how to adjudicate this for sleeping people to see.
Probably just perception.
You don't
checks minus a
use
certain- with a penalty.
disadvantage, so probably a circumstance. We'll do a -2. I want the 3 of you to make perception at a -2.
Got a
Just
23.
see if you can hear that.
16.
24.
Vornush'ka is over there. Every time the whispers seem to rise to a point where they might rouse her, she's like, I rolled a power 3 for Ricky.
Classic Ricky.
So you look up, Mizya, as you instinctively cast this spell, and you see about 30 feet away from you. Where did it go? You see.
While Jake is checking something out in Pathfinder, be sure to check us out on spring.com. At spring.com, we have t-shirts, tanks, and so much more. Spring.com. Just search Mini Terrain Domain.
You see a creature that is, its eyes seem to be glowing in the light of the fire, with a yellow light. All right, this is a great time for my browser to lock up. I don't know if this is right. Anyway, and you see that it's, well, you've seen these before. So there's no question, especially with that 33. What you are looking at is a very large wolf. What does the ghost whisper? What do you have the spell whispering that's waking up your companions?
It doesn't make music or actual words. It's
just
noise.
indistinct.
It's just kind of like.
So Teera, Flip, you got a 16, you said? Okay. So the three of you, you're awoken by the sound of several voices that you don't recognize, whispering very nearby. In fact, it almost sounds like somebody's standing right next to you in your encampment. Just you hear that sort of.
Teera almost like instinctively, like she was like laying on her back, but she like pops up. You know when your alarm goes off and you kind of like end up like up, kind of just you don't know how you get that way. You just end up up. And I'm like sitting there kind of on my knees on my like one hand, and I have my sword immediately out. Not armored though. God damn it.
Flip, Marda.
Also, Teera is stacked.
And Marda is also not in her leathers, but gets up much slower than Teera. And is kind of a little like sleepy-eyed. What is going on?
Go ahead.
Flip is gonna peek out of the tent, and is gonna have like what looks to be like two cucumbers on his eyes, and they're gonna sort of be like dripping down his face as he like sort of gets them out of his way. He's gonna be shocked at the muscularity of it. Teera is gonna see Marda moving slowly. Is like, this doesn't seem like something that concerns me. Y'all have this under control, right? I can continue what I was doing.
Teera would be like frantically glancing around for whatever. She would be freaked out by these whispers.
There is a wolf, and I will just start to gesture in the direction.
Teera hops up and kind of motions everybody to stay. Is Vornush'ka not waking up still?
Vornush'ka is back to all of you, arms sort of wrapped around the blood axe, and just snoring loudly as this wolf is approaching. Now, Teera,
yeah,
you hail from the realm of the Mammoth Lords.
Damn right.
Which is my scale's a little off. I'm gonna say, based on this, hundreds of miles north of this region. So you all are sort of in the Saga lands. Varisia is in sort of the southernmost section of the Saga lands, with the realm of the Mammoth Lords being far to the north. There's a whole mountain range, and there's the Cinderlands plateau sort of area, or the Storval plateau rather, that sort of lies in between all of that. And you're in the forested area. All of that to say, you know that it is incredibly peculiar that a winter wolf should be standing in your camp in this region.
And this is a winter wolf?
This is a winter wolf. It's white fur, almost seems to glow, but is outshined by the glowing yellow eyes.
Okay. Teera would position herself in between this thing and her companions.
Teera,
Sword ready.
make me we're gonna do one of these.
And she would say, somebody try to fucking wake up Vornush'ka, please.
I'm gonna have you do a recall knowledge check.
Call me a big old dum-dum. What's recall knowledge?
Basically, you're going to attempt to see what you can find out about something.
Correct.
I want
Where is
you
that on
to
my
use
sheet?
your nature skill.
Okay. Gotcha. And newbie. And you know what? Because I feel like it's important, I'm gonna go ahead and use my hero point.
Sure.
Here I go. Oh wait, do I get to roll it and then decide? Is that
Yes.
one of the advantages of a hero
Yep.
point? Fuck. Well
Yep.
then, never mind. I don't know for sure if I'm doing that then. I am doing that.
What'd you get?
Something I got at 14.
That's actually enough.
Then never mind.
The DC was relatively low for you. Do you remember when you were, or rather I should say because of this, you remember when you were all heading towards the mountains to investigate the missing, the mining town. Before you got even to the town at the foot of the mountains, you and Vorn had gone off into the woods and had gotten involved in an encounter with some spiders that were shifting in and out of the ethereal plane.
Yes.
And at one point, while you were running from them, you found yourself running shoulder to shoulder with a wolf
I do remember that.
that was attacking the spiders.
Yep.
You recognize this as that same wolf, or at least of that same breed, which is even stranger because it seems to be a whole world away from where you were once before.
Very, yeah, ironically.
But even within the idea of when you transported across the realm, you were more than 1,200 miles away when you ran into this thing.
Okay.
And yet here it is.
Wow. Okay. Does it still appear? Does it appear? Can I? Wow. Shit. Can I make like a survival check or a nature check to see if it seems aggressive still, or can I just know that?
Yeah, I don't. So I'm wondering because we don't have insight.
Mind you, Teera is still
Oh,
trying
wait.
to just like look big like a pufferfish. She's trying to scare this away with her size, and you guys would notice. You don't see Teera without her armor on very often. You think that maybe it is just the armor that makes her look so big. It isn't. She is yoked. Too swole to control.
I've never heard that before. Too
So-
small to control.
Yeah.
The check that I want you to make, I know that I just saw this recently. There we go. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, well, for now, let's just say make a nature check because I can't remember the check that I want you to do.
Nat effing 20, which isn't automatically a crit in this system, but still.
This is classic wolf that, like you would see in a movie where the wolf, every time you see the wolf, it's in slow motion. Its eyes seem to glow almost unnaturally. It doesn't quite look aggressive, but it's got its head down almost as if it's like on guard. And it's alone, from what you can tell. And it does not appear like it's getting ready to attack. And it hasn't come any closer than about 30 feet.
Okay. Oh, Jesus. At this point, Teera would kind of be like, at any moment, if somebody could please wake up Vornush'ka. And she would sink her sword back into her scabbard and then just sort of like stand there. And then maybe take like one step towards this wolf.
There is a growl as you approach. Just a deep, throaty growl and a little bit of a snarl as its lips curl up and you see its sharp teeth.
And Teera would just shake her head and she'd be like, you don't scare me.
Remind me what hero points do again?
It allows you to reroll, but after you know what you frickin' get, it's like turbo advantage.
But does it do anything else, or it's just a reroll?
It's just a reroll after that.
I feel like
So-
there's other uses for hero points, and there is a companion deck that I don't have yet that gives you other things you can do with them, but
Yeah.
for the time being, they do basically rerolls.
All right, so Flip is gonna sort of sidle up to
Oh
beside
God.
Teera, and he's gonna like sort of like peek out from behind her. He's gonna see what she's seeing, and it's gonna be like a sound coming out of his throat, like a gravelly, like a. But then at the same time, he's gonna himself start to, and he's gonna start to snarl at the wolf. And I'm going to make an intimidation check to demoralize the wolf at a -4 penalty.
Oh,
Okay.
what a good body.
Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna bother rolling it. That's 24.
Damn.
And it is against the target's will DC.
Against the target's will.
Correct.
You see the ears sort of lay flat. But not in that laying back, but in the sort of way when you see a dog that's realized it's maybe in trouble. And you see the tail sort of shift downward as the wolf actually shifts its posture and sort of involuntarily takes a step back. And then you go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you
I
go
was
ahead.
just gonna say, as Flip sees that his primal goblin rage had an effect on the winter wolf, he's gonna step out from in front of Teera and go beside her so that he advances just slightly on the dog to
Oh my God.
impose his will on it further.
Amazing.
How close are you stepping?
Just beside Teera, not it, because he knows that it could
Level with
provoke a response if he gets too close. He's just reminding the dog that who's boss, and it's him, obviously.
Obviously, the alpha in this situation is in Flip.
Teera, what languages do you speak?
I speak Jotun, Orcish, and Common.
Jotun.
Jotun.
Excellent.
Sorry. It's a soft J.
It's
Not to be
essentially
confused with the
it's essentially
J sound in
giant.
giant. I know.
Does anybody else here speak Jotun? So you don't understand. You hear what actually does sound like a very deep, gravelly, if strange, growl coming from this wolf. But Teera, you hear coming from the wolf.
I thought you kept better company than goblins.
Teera would shrug and just be like, well, he's new. And then
So's
she would
the other two.
And you see the wolf kind of lift its head, making a little bit of a sniffing in the direction of Marda and Vornush'ka.
Yes.
You all see the wolf arch its back as if stretching. And then you hear the sound of what sounds like multiple twigs snapping and breaking as the bones of this wolf are shifting.
Oh.
And you see Kane
Oh.
Magram standing before you.
Okay. Didn't know that was the one. Okay. And Teera would sort of like her shoulders would slump and she would see him, and she would immediately like run to him and throw her arms around him and be like, "Are you okay? Where have you been?" Where have you been?
Easy. You see that as you do so, across his chest, starting at his collarbone and running all the way across down to his hip, is a still healing slash. Like something did a lot of damage to him.
Who did that? And Teera's got that freaking like pretty rage look in her eyes.
You also notice in that moment that he is stark naked, having just transformed from a
Teera
wolf.
backs off immediately and okay. Well, so you might want to take care of yourself, and then I would love to talk to you about, shoes and ships and sealing wax, but that can wait. And she would just kind of like averting her eyes.
So actually, I think the only other person that would recognize Kane is Mizya. As Flip and Marda, you see Teera run across and hug this suddenly appearing transforming naked man. Mizya, you see somebody who you know of.
Let me ask a Pathfinder question here, because I have a spell that allows me to do things if I know the true name of a creature. Would you...
like his real name is okay.
Yeah, since I know who this is.
You know that
I would know.
He goes by Kane Magram, but that it is you would still know that it is Teera's brother Torrent.
Okay, so but I know that the true name is Torrent, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I will call his name out. And there's malice in it when I do. And I'm going to invoke true name.
What the fuck does that mean? What are you doing?
Just hold on.
I suddenly lost so much trust in not Mizya, but Dwight. Like, I don't trust Dwight at all.
You remember, I have never liked him, right?
You did, but then we had a whole fucking heart-to-heart. I gave you the forehead-to-forehead thing. It's, oh my God.
Yep.
So,
God.
I'm not doing anything. I just
it's
speak his name, and I don't sound happy to see him. That's all I'll say at this point, so.
You see Kane / Torin flinch when you speak his true name. But then he sort of quickly recovers and he says, "Give me just a moment." And he sort of ducks back behind a tree a little ways and pulls a bundle from which he starts pulling on trousers. And you can see that it looks like it's a bundle that the wolf probably carries around with it. If he's intentional about this, as he's putting on some of his familiar clothing, which also includes his fur cloaks, and for all intents and purposes, he's the Kane, and the brother that you haven't seen for in world. It's been at least a few months since you've seen Kane.
And in between there, frickin' Shadowheart had said that she has him or had him or whatever. Something happened.
Yep.
So that's the kind of foremost on Teera's mind right now. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
So eventually, when he frickin' comes clothed out of the bushes, she would ask and be like, "Did she hurt you?
Do me a favor real quick and roll a d20.
13. Lucky 13.
Okay, that's gonna do it. As Kane comes out from behind this tree, sort of pulling on trousers and doing up the last of the things, he at the last second he just sort of bends down to tuck his one of his trouser legs into his boot, and as he does so, you just hear this thwack as Vornush'ka's axe swings into the tree where his head was only moments before.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
And
Teera
he
would
sort of
turn around.
sort of tucks in.
Yeah.
You just hear in Jotun a couple of very stern giant cusses.
Teera would turn around with her back now to Kane and facing the group and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. This is... Mizya, you couldn't have real quick filled in the blanks for them? Everyone, this is my brother. He's not here to hurt us.
He's here to make a terrible first impression, I see.
He does that quite well.
Insulting goblins. Lycanthrope. Huh.
You wouldn't have heard the goblin insult.
No, he was speaking in Jotun.
He was speaking in Jotun.
Never mind.
For all you know, he loves goblins.
But he did approach as his wolf form, which is kind of scary.
Whatever, I take it back.
He's got a... He's got lycanthropy. He had to come to us to keep himself safe, you know? So...
I approached...
This is...
I approached hesitantly because I didn't know who these others were.
Well...
I could smell them. The goblin and the halfling and the orc. I had to make sure that you were with them willingly.
Well,
Did you not see me sitting guard at the tree? I've been with Teera from the beginning. You're not very perceptive, are you?
I saw you.
Smart,
Mizya.
anything like that?
I saw you. I still had to know for myself what the situation was.
They're friends. Okay, they are. This is
Well-
Marda. She's a cleric or something, an oracle now. And this is Vornush'ka, who apparently is a battle-ready orc champion. And this is Flip.
The
And
new
he's
leader of the group.
He's a bard.
I'm not any one thing. I am many things. Legendary performer, master politician, autist.
We don't like to put Flip in a corner. Or a bottle.
He has many things, and Teera kind of smiles, like, knowingly at Kane.
We've also known him for like 6 hours, maybe, at this point.
He was helpful when we needed him. And yeah, I think how is Vornush'ka reacting to that? Oh, and this is Vornush'ka.
I think in the scope of introductions, you just get a you hear a grunt as Vornush'ka pulls the axe out of the as Vornush'ka pulls the axe out of the tree, and you get all you're getting is anybody that's watched Ted Lasso. You just get the Roy Kent grunts as she just goes and just moves to stand and just sort of holding the axe sort of at the ready. And meanwhile, Kane just says, I was able to get away from Shadowheart.
Good.
The only way to do so was to go through one of her mirrors.
What is that? What does that mean?
She has mirrors that she uses as portals. I went through one of them, not knowing where it would take me. And I've been running through the wilderness for, I don't even know how long, days, weeks. And was surprised a few days ago to catch your scent. Been following it ever since, and I wasn't certain until I smelled your blood on the ground. And imagine my surprise when I found 3 of the dead jungle drakes just over there.
Yeah. Well, does she know where you are? She said she knew where you were, like she was tracking you. Does she know where you are now?
I don't believe so. I think that if she did know where I was, I think she would have come for me sooner.
And at this point, Teera would like take him like by like just the furs and stuff and be like, "You are staying with us. No sneaking off in the night, no disappearing into the snow, no going all canine and then running away. You're staying with us."
If you want to. Not
And
unnecessary.
Teera would frickin' shoot a terrifying look over at Mizya. With intimidating prowess. Not that it applies here, but still.
I just kind of mouth, no pressure, at him after Teera looks away.
Asshole! Mizya's just making that face like,
I don't know. I can stay with you for a little while, but I don't know if it's a good idea if I stay for too long.
So, what's your deal there, Kane? The whole lycanthropy thing and sneaking up on people and
Well, I am not going to be able to sleep a wink. Kane, why don't you explain to our new very good friend, Flip, the deal, and I will continue my shift for the rest of the night. Mizya, you can add parts of the deal if you so choose. And Teera would you would almost see that she like looks jittery, and she'd be like, I need to walk, and she then would like walk off and you would hear her making the rounds, but she's making them like pretty quickly. She's not like stopping at any spots. She's just freaking walking like laps.
Mechanically, you're aware that if you do not rest, you do not get the benefits of the rest.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I believe you gain a
Flip's healing
fatigue.
did enough.
You gain a fatigue.
That's
You
okay.
get something like that. I'll have to look it up.
I'll look it up.
But if you don't get a full
only go
rest,
for 16 hours or more.
okay.
I'll-
But I thought there was something if you didn't get your full 8 hours. It just will go towards if you go another day without resting.
I think
Thank you.
so.
I knew it was something like that.
So as Teera is marching around the perimeter, I kind of look at Kane and then I look at Flip. Obviously, they're related. We've had encounters before. We begrudgingly give him our trust because Teera says we should, against my better judgment. He hasn't hurt us recently. He has dealings with someone that I don't care for.
Oh, who's
But
that?
also seems to be in her bad graces. So, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Oh.
I will keep my eye on him. I'm going back to bed.
But, you'll keep your eye on him while you're in bed?
Well, no, I
Is he
just
gonna
mean
be
like
sleeping beside you? Like, what's the
going-
deal there?
going forward. After I wake up in the morning, I will keep my eye on him, make sure he's on the up and up when I'm rested. You're a lot more like Doc than I thought you would be.
Huh. Weird.
It's like you share something in common, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
Well, he must have been delightful.
It quite was.
Um,
Anyway.
So, Marda, are you gonna stay up and talk to this not at all deceptive person of lycanthropic origin?
You see that Marda in this time has finally gotten up and has shuffled over to where Flip is. And she looks. Yes, I can stay with him.
Great, because I've got a bunch of questions. I'd love it if you'd, chime in. We could make it like a little game.
Marda.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh, we're going interview mode. I'm ready. I got this.
Everyone cracks their knuckles.
Marda, what's your trained lore?
Academia.
You can. I would like you to make a check, a recall knowledge check, using either your academia lore or your religion.
Ooh, religion I'm an expert in. So
Oh, then absolutely do that.
Wow.
Oh, I got a 34.
Excellent. Go about. I'm gonna send you a message. So go about Flip and
Secret
Marda.
message. Secret message.
So Marda's going to make herself comfortable now, sitting.
Great. Have a seat. Would you like something to drink? I have some water.
You hear
But
what
Marda-
sounds like somebody or something fall in the woods, and then you hear shit. I think Teera probably tripped, not paying attention to where she was walking.
Keep your head up, Big Sword. Kane, if you could describe yourself in only 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Tenacious. Wolf. Pack.
Where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years?
Are you interviewing me to join your party? Or are you trying to get to know me?
I think it's important that we interview each other.
Yeah, exactly. We
Make
gotta
sure
know
it's a
where
good
everybody's
fit.
coming from. Those personality fits can be killer. Get it? Because I just killed a shambling mound with a fireball. Yeah. If you have to explain the joke, nobody's laughing. It's doesn't feel like it landed. But anyway, yeah. So 3 words. Marda, feel free to jump in.
3 words. Dangerous. Violent.
Then he kind of glances off in the direction of where you heard Teera sort of stumble.
Regretful.
Marda, how about you?
She looks like she gives like side eye to Flip as she looks back at Kane. You forgot edgy, and maybe a little bit. She's like, you can see that she's like looking at him, but her like very intently as she does so. Maybe a little bit like you are a bit full of yourself.
Oh, he was going to say full of himself. I was going to say, especially for the first 2, way overcompensating. I mean, did you see him back down? It's like he was a puppy again. Ooh, and I'm 3'7" and 3/4 inches and 1/8 inches tall.
It's that 1/8 inch, I think.
Don't fool yourself, goblin. I wasn't sure you were alone. Any goblins I've run into, they're usually in a gang of them. They're violent, nasty, cunning creatures.
You're God's damn right.
Check,
And
and check.
I don't mean
This
to come
game-
across as full of myself. I'm just I can be dangerous to be around.
You're fine. Anyway, Marda, do you have any questions?
Why do you... why is Teera... And she, like, I can imagine that as soon as she says that, you hear, like, another, like, crash coming from the forest from Teera.
I'm okay.
Why does she act like that? She is flustered and distracted.
Teera and I spent the better part of a couple decades apart. And she may have been looking for me, and I may have been taking steps not to be found during that time. I was involved with some people I'd rather not talk about. But, more importantly, I had been working for a sorceress by the name of Ravona Shadowheart, who had not had Teera's and Mizya's and some of their other friends' best interests in mind. I've done things I'm not proud of.
Would Marda know who Ravona is?
Ooh, you know what? Given your
Because of
position
Marda's
given
as well?
given your position and being where you were, the at what is now we're saying was Absalom, within one of the universities there. Yeah, you know, I think anybody who has had any, either you who actively worked within the hierarchy of the institutions there, in particular, you would know who she was, though you probably didn't work with her directly. She was basically, she's the kind of person at the school that has like an entire wing or building named after her, because she comes from money. She's very, she's elven, and very long lived, so she's been there for hundreds of years. In fact, most of your memory of anything you know or have heard of Ravona would also possibly involve Mizya Helviar as well, because the two of them worked together for a while, or were often seen together. But I mean, that's been 70 years since they worked together. But anybody who has any that had any knowledge of within a city like that, a large city like Absalom, of the what do you call it, the aristocracy, who the families of power were, things like that, you would know the name.
Flip has written a song mocking Ravona Shadowheart.
So that I don't know, but I think if Flip is somebody that has knowledge of people and movers and shakers in high society within Absalom, then you absolutely would have heard the name Ravona Shadowheart. Though anything the two of you might have heard would primarily have been as philanthropist, a scientist of sorts, an arcanist, an alchemist. Yeah.
But generally positive? Or from Marda's perspective?
From Marda's perspective, I think initially most of what you heard, but as long as you were teaching at the university, you start to hear in certain circles over time, when, you know, whispers and rumors that she was doing experiments that weren't ethical, and so there's definitely something else, at least rumors that you heard. Yeah.
Okay. So then, yeah, Marda at him saying that is an interesting connection between you and Mizya.
I don't know that Mizya would claim any connection other than unfortunate between us. It is clear that Mizya holds me in no high regard. And it's a scorn that is well earned. For a while I was actively working against them.
Yeah. So you said you're regretful. Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's go deeper.
Let's not.
So if you could go back in time and you could fix your one biggest regret, how would you go about doing that? Not what it was, but how would you go about healing that wound that's created in your psyche?
Look, I appreciate what you're doing, but I'm not here to be your subject for your psychoanalysis. I came to see my sister.
Yeah, but as I wrote in my book, Eat, Pray, Flip, you have to be open with your feelings. I actually had to change that title a couple times. It's kind of funny. Originally, it was Eat, Flip, Love, but I felt like it opened too many unwanted invitations. Cannibalism is a thing amongst
You
goblins.
see an almost an involuntary, as you say that, Eat, Flip, Love, Kane just sort of licks his lips involuntarily. And you see that the corner of his mouth just sort of turn up a little bit.
Look,
Teera would walk back into camp. Sorry, go ahead.
I've eaten some weird shit too. I'm not. You could lick your lips. I'll lick my lips. It's just gonna keep going.
Looks like we've made it to the small talk stage. Everything all hashed out then, eh?
Oh yeah. We're psychoanalyzing his past trauma.
No, we're not.
Oh.
I came to see you. I wanted to make sure you were all right, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to even run into you at all, not knowing where in all of the world that I had turned up. I have been traveling for days without rest, and I would like to rest. I think we should all finish sleeping for the night and talk in the morning, and I promise I'm not going anywhere.
Teera would nod, but at the same time, she doesn't trust that at all. She would want to stay up and finish the night, and she would just pull an all-nighter at this point.
Marda, what about you? If you could go back in time and address what you see as one of your greatest regrets, how would you go about doing that? How would you heal that wound?
Does Flip pull out a bombastic set of glasses when he's doing this, by the way? I got to imagine like pink frames.
Maybe. Let's see what I got.
Oh, you fucker. I was joking. I'm sorry. Am I interrupted? Now he's got to find props. Oh my god, those are very psychoanalysis of you.
Yeah, so you were saying, Marda?
There is, Flip. I would have gotten more sleep, I think, which is, perfect time to start. And she said that she
Perfect.
turns to go to bed.
And that is an excellent place for us to take our break.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break, after which we will return. I'm also realizing, because we haven't been streaming for so long, I've got the timing wrong on our breaks. So we usually take a break at 9:15 for this game, because we start. Because I'm like, wait.
Yeah, my bladder was letting me know, Jake.
I'm like, wait a minute.
So.
We only play until 10:30, and I did that on last Monday too. I don't think we broke until 10 too. So that's my bad.
Yeah, you should maybe check your messages too.
What messages?
Wow.
Chat messages.
Oh.
Exactly.
Get it called out.
You messaged that literally as I was typing to M the secret message. So I didn't see it. So we'll still have about 30 minutes left when we return.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a 10-minute break, and we will see you on the other side. And we're back. So we're going to cut to morning. Teera, how hard are you trying? Are you like actively, forcibly trying to stay awake, or are you just like, I'm not going to sleep? I'm wired.
I think more the latter. I think that she is wired and she's kind of like
Make
she
a fortitude.
has so many.
Make a fortitude check.
Okay. A skill of which I am master level. Apparently. That's a 33.
For Teera, we're translating fortitude as stubbornness. So you do
Fair.
manage to stay awake, and you don't get a full night's rest.
Super. Yeah, so I'm awake.
All right.
I would say Tira's making coffee by the time people start to wake up.
So it is morning.
Oh, I think in the wee hours of the morning.
The twilight, perhaps?
Twilight, maybe?
Indeed.
Marda has been, and maybe Teera, you would notice this, Marda has been just tossing and turning, and it, like, seems increasingly so. From where you are sitting, or would you be sitting, do you think?
Yeah.
Or walking around?
Walking around, sitting. At this point, Teera has kind of settled a little bit. Like, she would make her way into camp for a little while, sit, and then kind of go about and so on.
Cool. So, as you're doing so, maybe your hand is kind of resting on the ground, and suddenly you feel a pinch or like a bite or a burning sensation in your arm, and as you pull it away, you see the same bloody roots are in to your come up your hand and your arm and into your wrist. And they fade a little bit, but they're still there. And as you look behind you, you see that there's a direct line of path of these roots that have grown and crept along the ground in more or less a line. And you see Marda has put her hand down on the ground, and you see the same, like, bloody root system coming from her hand.
Okay. What time is this happening? Approximately.
About twilight.
Approximately twilight.
It's that moment where the sun is just starting to rise enough that the sky has that sort of early tints of pink and orange. Everything is silhouetted, and it's hard to quite make out a lot of shapes other than you can see Marda and what's left of the firelight.
Okay, so I at this point, when this happens, Teera would go over to Marda and be like, "Psst, Marda, wake up."
You see that Marda is like in a cold sweat, and she like opens up her eyes quite quickly and looks at you and blinks as if she doesn't see that you're there.
Hey. And Teera kind of waits for her to gather herself a little bit and to be like, and she would kind of like look like this and then point at the others like they're still sleeping, and then she would beckon Marda to come off more towards the clearing with her.
Yeah, after a bit, after seeing Teera, and would get up and follow her.
And when Marda kind of arrives, Teera would hold out her wrist and show her these marks and be like, "I was going to ask you about this earlier, but the need necessitates. The hell is this about?
You see that Marda looks genuinely horrified, like eyes kind of widen for a minute. I don't know.
Well, I mean, Marda, I don't think you did it on purpose or nothing, but it felt like something bit me. I looked down and there was a little red trail going right over to you. And I saw you do that thing with that flying lizard deal.
Are you hurt? Are you injured?
I don't know, a little bit. It kind of... No, not injured. No, but it hurt. Felt like something bit me. I don't know, should I be nervous? Is this bad? Is this, like, really bad?
She, like, looks at... I don't know. I don't know if it is bad or not.
Oh, God! And Teera would look concerned, like, what do I do? What do I do? She'd be like holding her hand up, freaked out.
Shh. And like Marda just like hushes Teera down. You will wake the others.
Is it gonna fall off?
I don't think so.
Well, that's reassuring.
Just, I don't know, tell me if you feel anything different at any point and I will see what I can do.
Uh-huh. And Teera digs into her pack and, like, pulls out, like, some, like, cloth, and she would, like, start, like, wrapping it up. And be like, I don't want to freak the others out as much as I am freaked out right now. There's a lot going on for me. I don't know if you noticed or anything, so this is not helping. But anyway, I won't say anything to anybody else, but it would really help me if you just told me, like, what is your whole thing?
She's like looking, and she almost like, when you say that there's a lot on your mind, she kind of, can I? And she like kind of pulls back the very nice wrapping that you just did, and she like pulls it.
Yeah.
And she looks, and your brother, he had a scar on his neck.
Yeah. I don't know where he got it. He's a werewolf. I'm sure people attack him all the time.
No. This is it was not an injury. It was like a arcane symbol, religious symbol.
Oh yeah, his sire's mark. Yeah, he told me about that. He didn't tell me too much. I don't know much about it.
Do you know who it is?
No. Like, what do you mean? Side note, GM, was that given to him by Ravona? Is that
you don't know
was
where?
Was it never specified? That's okay.
So the sire's mark is not an arcane symbol.
Okay.
The sire's
is that
mark.
What you were referring to, Em? I wasn't sure. Oh, okay.
It's been a long time since we've talked about sire's marks, so I'll do just refresh. The sire's mark is not visible.
Okay.
It would be concealed under clothing. I actually have to look and see, check my notes where.
If that's not what Em was asking about, then
the fact that that Marda described it as arcane symbols on his neck, it would not be the sire's mark. This is something different.
I sure would shrug then and just be like,
I mean, you did see the wound that went from his neck all the way down across his body, that most of that's covered.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
She points to this. I recognize this is the same.
Do I see, like, is the red thing? Is that what she's pointing at?
Yeah, she's like pointing to like this the whatever's indented left over from these like roots, just like on your skin.
Same, huh? Okay. He's got a mark like this on him.
Similar. I don't know if it is the same, but it is similar. It has like a similar essence.
Huh. Well, no, I didn't notice, I guess. Well, you gave me this one. You're telling me somebody else gave him his? Did you give him his? Or something? I don't know.
I don't know where mine came from, so maybe if he knows where his came from, we can know where mine and then yours that I gave you came from.
Alright, I think I understand. Alright, and Teera would kind of like take her hand back and rewrap it. Like, okay. Well, are you okay? Is everything good with you? That's never happened before.
She like looks down at her hands and you see like a very like you don't see anything at first, but you see very similarly on her wrist to where you were. There is a similar mark.
All right. Well, maybe we're long lost siblings and we don't even know it, eh?
Maybe. He says.
And so the camera cuts to a 2-shot of the little halfling and the big winter-touched human.
Exactly.
She like looks up from like your ankle like level.
Yeah.
Somehow, I doubt it. For the DM, I have cast Life Connection, which lasts for 24 hours.
Okay. Neat.
I'll tell you what, Archives of Nethys is a lifesaver. I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Not a sponsor, but you could be. Archives of Nethys. Thank you. As we make this transition, we appreciate you, Archives of Nethys. La la la.
No, I do. As a new Pathfinder GM, it's absolutely incredible. And you two sort of to have this conversation, you stepped away from the fire a little bit. As the others are starting to rouse from sleep, Kane comes walking up and sits down next to the fire. 4 rabbits that he has apparently wandered off to catch, and has skinned them and is skewering them for to spit them up for breakfast. Does anybody else want to have any conversations as you all are getting ready? Or what's the plan for the day? Maybe that's a conversation you all should figure out. What are you doing next? I will say weather-wise, everything is damp from the previous night's rain, but otherwise the sky is starting to clear, and there's still the distant thunder somewhere off to the east of where the storm has moved.
I sidle up to the fire where Kane is preparing breakfast. My robes are changed out of the sopping wet ones from last night. So, Flip, you say you know where it is we are supposed to go. Would you care to lead the way this morning? Anything you need from us before we set out? Any words of wisdom? Perhaps you could turn your voice on.
Words of wisdom, you know. I tend to think to myself, Flip, you have the gift of verbosity that few people possess. You can inspire people with every syllable from your golden lips. But then I think, no, so too can people inspire themselves with their stick-to-itiveness and other traits that they may possess. Are you raising your hand? Is that a thing that adults do? Really? Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Mizya,
Your lips don't appear to be golden. They seem to be quite flesh-colored.
It's true, but at the same time, you're smart enough to understand the concept of metaphor. And he's going to point at Teera. He's going to say, she doesn't understand the context of carbohydrates. I figured you would understand the metaphor. But lead yourself is really inspire yourself by my what's the word I want to use? By my
Bullshit.
yeah, really. A statue carved high with shit. If it's in my image, goddamn, it would smell sweet.
I turn to Teera. Yes, I like this one. He'll fit in nicely.
I do too.
Well,
Kane, you just hear Kane mutter under his breath, "Him you like."
Yes. Awesome.
shall we go then? Kane, I assume you're coming with us, unfortunately.
Very happy to have you along. He's very capable. Wow, this is terrific breakfast. Thank you, brother. And she's looking pointedly at Mizya.
Anybody that cares to has enjoyed a nice breakfast of coffee that Teera's prepared and fresh rabbit with enough rabbit left over that if you want to bring some along for later in the day. Where are you going?
We are going to that place that I know.
So you know that the place is east. That's most of what you know.
Yeah.
You know that it's in a land south of Ustalav, which you also know is hundreds of miles away.
Yep.
And you know that you have about a month and a half until the blood moon to get there.
Yep. There'll be adventures on the way, but wagons east.
All right.
Go
So
east, young man.
Mizya, for the record, that too was metaphor because we don't have wagons.
Yes, I picked up on that one.
Just given the previous conversation we had, I figured explanation was needed.
I love that Flip has to explain versus us having to explain to Doc. It is very flipped, if you will. It is. Oh my God! There's so much. There's so many layers. I love it.
Kane, tell me, we all face, and Flip is gonna start sort of walking along, just sort of marching. He's like, we all face challenges in life, and it seems as though you've faced your fair share. But so too have we faced triumph and joy and wonder. I'd like you to share with the group a time where you felt wonder or joy or triumph. And it can't have anything to do with like meeting Teera again or like, coming upon the group, because it seems like something you would say because you're academically lazy, is what I would say. Yeah.
Interesting.
I find myself wondering why you keep talking to me.
I tell you, there's a lot of reasons. Do you want a list? Or,
The finer art of
If I would-
sarcasm seems to be lost on you.
Flip, I would love it if you gave him a list.
a list? Oh, all right. Well, getting to know you is important because we're clearly traveling together. Mizya doesn't trust you based on past deceptive behavior. And if they recognize the behavior was deceptive, you're pretty shit at it. What else? You're a lycanthrope. So I have questions about that.
Goblin. I think that's a long enough list.
I could keep going.
I don't want you to.
Okay.
Perhaps it's time for us to set out on our journey.
I just assumed you were already on your journey.
I thought we
Yeah,
were
yeah.
already on the
Yeah,
journey.
well-
Who's leading the way?
Obviously, it's Flip.
Flip, are you trained?
We just keep stopping periodically as Flip stops and turn around and talk to somebody. So, like we don't know where we're going. So
Flip, are you trained in survival?
Well, there's a long and a short answer to that.
Let's go with the short answer.
Flip did mention riding on Teera's shoulders, and Teera has survival. Are we doing like a dual partnership kind of thing?
Flip is gonna tap Teera on the thigh. Excuse me,
Yeah, what?
big sword.
Yeah, what?
Can I ride on your back? Like in your backpack?
You can't ride in my backpack. You can ride on my back if you really need to.
He's going.
Couple of
He's going for a
miles.
Yoda thing, I think.
Yeah. And Teera would kind of put her hand down and
And
help
Flip
him
is
up.
gonna wander up her shoulders. You're very tall.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And Teera would be walking, and Flip would kind of. I imagine Flip isn't even giving her directions. He's just tapping her on the head every so often, or on the shoulder, to turn and shit. It's very Ratatouille.
So, what level of survival are you?
Me or him?
You.
I am. Well, I'm trained, and I have a +11 mod.
Okay. You go ahead and make a survival.
Okay. Is a
check.
17 enough? If it's not, I have a hero point.
No, it is enough.
Okay.
You're basically this check is more or less to keep you going in the right direction. So as you're traveling through the forest, that you're not wandering too far to the north or the south, getting off track. You are moving through, and I think most of you would have known this based on previous knowledge you had of the region you were in, where previously you had traveled to the high forest. In this case, you had traveled to the Sonos forest. You know that heading eastward, you're going to be traveling for a long time, but you're going to have some decisions to make, whether you follow some rivers, whether you go up into the Storval Plateau, how you want to try to traverse the mountains. But you've got basically about 4 to 6 weeks of travel, time in which to travel to where you're getting, with a lot of rough terrain to get through. So yeah, that's enough to kind of keep you on track, keeping you heading in the right direction. As
Teera, just
Yeah.
where the sun rises is the direction we need to travel.
Yep. And Teera would look over to Kane and be like, "Yep, rises in the east and sets in the west.
So Kane,
Rest in the west," our dad used to say.
yeah, Kane, let me ask you a question. What is your greatest fear?
Gosh.
Right now that you're going to keep asking me probing questions.
Okay, let's go a little deeper than that. Not right now, in general.
And Teera would look at Kane and just kind of shrug, like if he wants to tell him, he can. If he doesn't have to. She's kind of with him no matter what.
make a persuasion check. Is that a thing?
Yep, diplomacy.
Diplomacy, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I fall back onto what I know.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I want to lie to him.
Mm. Flip falls off a cliff.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, just
I know, that's Teera chucks Flip.
Ironically, that's not at all out of the realm of possibilities.
Just freaking discus tosses him.
All right, so yeah, I am actually going to, because I'm a charming liar, and I'm attempting to ingratiate myself with Kane, trying to get these probing questions, I'm going to use deception instead of diplomacy, because I am a master of deception.
Yes.
Okay.
That is a 35.
Damn, son. Wow. Side note, I also love Charming Liar. I'm a Charming Liar in another game. It's so choice. You can afford one, I highly recommend.
Okay,
Pathfinder.
so what are you doing to
I'm just
noisily.
generally ingratiating myself, just trying to make him more.
So you
right to
definitely-
answer my questions.
You definitely find that, or rather, Kane finds himself beginning along this travel, beginning to respond to your questions in spite of himself. You get a lot of answers as far as like your, you know, as far as this what the question was, the greatest fear, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically like, look, I've known you for less than 24 hours, and you want me to suddenly open up to you about how I'm afraid to disappoint my sister, how I'm afraid that she's going to continue to think so little of me when I've not seen her for so long. How as soon as we got to see one another after more than 15 years apart, I deceived her, undermining her trust. And he starts going on like this in spite of himself.
Flip is going to look back and he's going to sort of nod sagely, and he's going to say, you know, Kane, we're all afraid. We've all done things we regret. But as I wrote in my most recent treatise, Fliplosophy, Jesus, if you're open to your past, you use it as a window, not a door. You don't need to return there. You just need to look back once in a while and remember, yeah, that's who I was. But who you were doesn't rule who you're going to be. Every day, that's a choice that you make. You get to decide who you are, not that window.
You are surprisingly insightful. More so than I would have expected from any goblins I've met. I would like a perception check from everybody.
Flip is changing hearts and minds.
He is. Even if he's doing so deceptively.
31.
I also got a 31 with a nat 20. Or sorry, I apologize, 33 with a nat 20.
I got a 31 with a nat 20.
God bless. Look at you. Look at us. Hey.
Hey,
Look at us.
look at us.
I got a
Look at us.
31 without a nat 20.
Wow.
Goddamn.
Fuck you,
that's,
Dwight.
That's more terrifying.
What'd you get, Marda?
23. Just not as
A
impressive.
great roll.
I'm rolling as if I were Ricky. Critical fail. But because
The
three of
power
you,
one.
so 3 of you got 31, 2 of you got nat 20s. Flip and Teera, how do you stop Marda, or how do you stop Vornush'ka, who has gotten distracted trying to basically bushwhack through these vines and ferns and everything else, from stepping off the edge of a cliff?
I'm actually going to let Flip narrate this one because he's kind of steering the ship. Are you still on my back, Flip?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to let Gary narrate this one. Go ahead.
So Flip sees Vornush'ka trying to go toward a cliff, and he is going to shout, "Oi, Hamhawks! Going in the wrong direction! Down straight toward your death is not where we need you right now. Stay toward the path. Do not use initiative. Follow the leader. Do not use your brain. Focus on the ass in front of you and nothing else."
Which, just if not your words exactly, the sheer number of words that you're using, followed by following Hamhawks, has stopped Vornush'ka. Like they were about to step and would have plummeted off the edge of this cliff, and instead they turn to put that foot down and face you, and the rest of you see that it's not so much like a sudden cliff as it's just where probably from rains or something part of it has washed away, and it's a little bit further to the south along this area where you can see there is a path that leads towards to begin to wind its way down to where you can see the forest is actually split. Because there is a river running through it. There's more forest on the other side. And you can see that from this higher vantage point, some of the area is blocked by the trees, but you can actually see where a little bit further to the south, the river flows into a large lake. And you know that the waters of this river, the Skull River, flow from the Storval Plateau from a large, what is now essentially a lake or a basin called the Storval Deep. And you can see where the road sort of winds its way along as you're all standing at the top of this pathway that leads down towards a road that runs along the river. You see a figure riding furiously on horseback. And this figure looks up at all of you and starts waving his arms. Hey there! Hey, you! You can hold on! And after a few moments, this figure riding on horseback makes his way all the way up this hill towards where you all are. And I mean, you're probably only about 50 feet above where this road was down below. And he comes skidding to a stop with the horse, and you see that it's a halfling man that is on this horse. And he goes, "Oh, I was hoping I would run into somebody. The river coming from the dam. Something's happened. It's flooding Turtleback Ferry. The town is rapidly coming underwater, and we need help. Will you come help?"
Flip is gonna look down at the man and from
He
Teera's
looks down at the
shoulders,
man.
and he's gonna say, "I don't want to call myself a hero, but I'm going to. We'll help you."
And that's where we're going to end this session.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Awesome.
I feel like, much to everyone's chagrin, perhaps, Flip is going to end up having a lot of those final moment lines right before a break, or...
That is how it should be. If he ever doesn't, I'll be disappointed. Incredible.
All right, well, I managed to sneak in the title of the episode right at the very end there.
That's why they call it that.
So, yeah. Just a reminder that we are back on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/miniature domain. I'm just double checking. We are going to raid a friend who... Are they still streaming? Yes, they are. It's been a while. We're going to send a raid over to our friend Tildaloo. Yeah, so thank you to everybody who tuned in. Just a reminder as well, we are back on Thursday with Welcome to Paradise, Michigan, a Kids on Bikes RPG, where you can see Em and Cari along with several other friends, and possibly Dwight will show up. We'll see. Who knows when Dwight's character will show up. Regardless, tune in for that. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. We appreciate you hanging out. If you're somebody that likes to lurk in the chat, we appreciate you just the same as well. And we hope you enjoy the presentation. Of course, as always, a huge thank you to all of these amazing players. Gary, Cari, M, Dwight, and though he's not here, he's here with us in spirit, Ricky, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. You can say it with me if you want.
D20 sucks.
Super washed out for this metadata.